So the first set of innovations that we're going to look at are the tribal innovators. And before that, I would like to request the convener of NCSI 2016, Mr. Satish Pradhan, to please come on stage. He'll be giving us an overview of the NCSI. And I request the tribal innovators to also please come on stage. Dr. Vishwajit Pandya, Mr. Kamadi, Sunil Mahadu Kamadi, Srimati Rahi Bai Popere, Dr. Girish Jathar and Mr. Ipra Mekola, Mr. Vinod Borse.
Each session would have 5 to 7 social innovators, and each session would be chaired by one of the co-organizers, NIF, TISS and PIC. Before those 3 sessions, we'll have Mr. Satish Pradhan giving an overview. At the end of those 3 sessions, we'll have a feedback session with corporate CSRs. And the last session would be the way forward session by Dr. Mashilkar, Dr. Kelkar, Mr. Pradhan, and Professor Gupta, if you could make it. So once again, as Namita mentioned, may I request Mr. Pradhan to please give us the overview.
Thank you, Namita. Thank you, Prashant. A very good morning to all of you. I'd like to start by echoing the words of some of the people who spoke in the earlier session, because it truly is very heartwarming. I'm really delighted to be here for the second year as convener and to see the numbers that we've garnered for this very, very significant event that the Innovation Conference constitutes. One of the early lessons that I learned from Dr. Mashelkar was the ability to distinguish innovation from activity. And he said it very simply. I'm not very sure whether he would remember these nuggets that he drops, and they impact a lot of people. But he said, what's different and how is it different in terms of how it's being done, and what difference will it make to the lives of people? And then over time, we built filters like his fascination with the numeral 10, which is, if it's not 10 times better, 10 times more impactful, and 10 times less expensive, you haven't hit the right hurdles. But the seminal part of it which inspires this conference is, whom do you work with and what difference do we make? Innovative enterprise is not new to this country. Innovative work, and I'm saying this not in a negative way, but in a descriptive way, for profit is increasingly gaining so much momentum that while one may not call it commonplace in the country, it is fairly widespread with a fair momentum to it. But when you look at innovation for impact in society, while it needs to be self-sustaining, and it probably can be significantly viable economically, is primarily focused on the delivery of disproportionate value to society, and particularly to the elements of what Dr. Amte said, the last, the excluded, the disenfranchised, and the needy. And I think when we deploy our capacities to impact those segments, those sectors, those geographies, and those people, and work with them, we create a huge cachet of non-monetary wealth in a society, which is heartwarming and actually does translate in many ways into the tangible monetary and measurable benefits that the world today seems to be significantly preoccupied with. So in that umbrella, this innovation conference has crafted itself based on the work that, and I must compliment Prashant and the team at PIC. This is it would be slightly inaccurate to say it's a one-man band, but it's a handful of people who work very hard. And the Social Innovation Conference is only one of the activities in which they get involved. But the outstanding quality of work, the listening, the engaging, the working with innovators and stakeholders from the community that they have done, the conversations and engagement and working with the CSR giving community and heightening their already active interest in doing good innovation for communities and society, I think has brought together, yet again, a heady mix of givers and seekers. And I say seekers not in a supplicant mode. The pride and self-respect and the desire to be self-sustaining amongst the innovators who are here today instills inspirational pride in even the best of corporate worlds. So I do hope that we will, as we have earlier, at some point of time have the beginnings of many swayamvars between the innovators and the corporates as a part of this conversation and engagement that we have. So I'd like to thank all the innovators, and I'd like to thank all the CSR companies and representatives, and the general membership of PIC, which always turns up in strong measure to support these kinds of things and provides intellectual capital and support for these things. So to make a difference to the excluded, and to also listen to what we heard last year, as Dr. Mashelkar and Prashant said earlier, we crafted this around 3 themes this year. One was the tribal, which geographically important, is remote and therefore to a certain extent excluded. Socially and culturally is in many ways excluded. Economically, still is the opportunity waiting for financial inclusion. But most importantly, and I think 2 of my friends, Viswajit, who's a professor of sociology and has worked with the Jarawas, will bring home to us. And my friend Ipra Mekhola from the Idumishmi tribe in Arunachal. And I'm almost certain many of us would not even have heard of the tribe, will bring to center stage that issue of enabling, encouraging the cultural and psychological exclusion that such communities are at the moment ensnared within. So to make a difference, I think there are many ways of enabling it, and I'm sure some people will only ask for your support in mentoring, in coaching, in helping, in supporting them with their thinking of how to go about doing what they want to do. And additionally, a lot of economic support as well. So to me, that part of understanding exclusion and making a difference, Mir inspiringly spoke in the morning about moving the needle. The question to me is, which needle are we moving? And this is not a win-lose kind of proposition. Economic sustainability, economic viability, and doing the kind of work that society benefits from, that moves the inclusion needle and the impact needle further, are compatible and viable. And to me, the 3 legs of that are the economic viability and economic inclusion, the economic impact, the social viability, social inclusion, cultural and psychological inclusion, and the context in which this is set, which the children of our children will have to deal with, which is the environment. And if we don't move forward, and we compulsorily will have to innovate to balance these. So my humble plea is to all of us, let's do our bit and try and take these perspectives forward, some of which are relevant to the subject of discussion today, but much of which is relevant to the subject of our lives every day. We will have 3 segments. One is the tribal segment, which we will lead with, which Shaban Ahmed, our professor from TISS and Deputy Director of Tulsapur campus, will chair. And we have one on rural and one on urban. These go across multiple areas, from livelihoods to health, as we are seeing, healthcare to the excluded, healthcare in the urban, a range of propositions. Some are strongly community-based and social and cultural in their intervention. Some are technology-based and enabling those to improve the lives of people. We hope we have managed to give an opportunity for all of us to see some very interesting things and support some very important programs across this spectrum. Happy listening, and I'm sure the work of all these people will inspire all of us to do more than we are doing even as we speak. So with that welcome, I'd like to hand over to Shaban and for the first session on tribal. Thank you very much.
Dr. Mashelkar, Shri Prashant, Shri Satish Pradhan, dignitaries from the corporates, and dear friends, very good morning. And the first session we are going to start is on the tribal innovations. And I was just listening what Satish Pradhan Sahab talked about, that the innovation, what we are looking at, that we are looking at the 3 stages. There are people who have reached to the modernity and they are actually extreme on the one side, and there are other people who are actually still looking for inclusion in the society. What the mainstream development basically has created, what this tribal innovation is looking for. I mean, in fact, I was happy to see the 5 selected themes are actually the innovations which are going to be presented in this conference. They are somewhere looking for alternatives, are trying to integrate what the modernity or the mainstream development has disintegrated. So the mainstream development has been extractive, it has been disintegrative, and though it has created bounties, but it has left certain section of the population somewhere. It has created dualities and disintegration between environment and society. It has disintegrated society and economy. It has disintegrated society and individuals, family and individuals. It has de-sovereignized the communities, and many people are asking for the sovereign community rights on certain things, certain properties, which actually the common properties. It has de-indigenized certain communities, and it has forced on them dependent development. And here in this conference, what we are going to look for, how we can empower these people that they can go through their own cultural aspiration and create a development dream through which they want to. They can create development through their own terms, not with the terms which are actually imposed by the mainstream development. And that is what these communities are looking for. And these tribal communities, largely if you look at, they are on the margins of the society, they are largely in the subsistence economy, and they hardly have any kind of modern ecosystem through which we understand today innovation and we recognize innovation. So that actually very important for us to keep in mind that what, and it is important for the government, it is important for the society at large, corporates, sectors and change agents and academia as such to create a condition or create the ecosystem in which the innovations can be multiplied in those kind of society by empowering them, making them independent some way in the thinking process, in the innovation process. And what actually I was reading for the Jara was that a kind of bicultural, where their culture also get included in the innovation process. So these 5 innovation actually we are going to present in this session, and these are by Dr. Bishwajit Pandya. He is created innovation and bicultural education system through the Angkatha, which actually educate a kind of education program for Jarawas and the tribal community. And then we have Mr. Sunil Madhu Kamadi, who actually works for the rice varieties, Ashwini rice, and indigenous breeding, and by the selective breeding he has created that. Third, we have Shrimati Rahibai Popre, and again it is on the agrobiodiversity and indigenous varieties. Fourth, we have Girish Jathar and Mr. Ipra Mikola, and it is also on the conservation of biodiversity, tribal culture in Mishmi Hills. And fifth, we have Madho Likmi, Mr. Shankar Gaude, and Mr. Vijay Timma on kitefish conservation and breeding. So if you look at all these innovations are somewhere very closely linked with the nature and culture and society. And that is where, and I think that is enormous attempt by them, that they are working for the integration of the nature, culture and economy. And that is where we need to help them, that where they can take it forward. So the first, we have limited time. So what I say that from the each presenter, that they can present their material, whatsoever they have, for 8 minutes each we assign to them, and so that we can conclude in the assigned time, and then one by one we will go. So first I invite Dr. Vishwajit Pandya to make a presentation on Angkatha on the Jarawas.
Thanks. This one is forward. Namaskar to all of you. As my Andamanese tribal friends would say, Enakutata Bange, which is greetings in Ungi and the Jarwa language. I and my colleague and collaborator in the work, Dr. Madhumita Majumdar, who is here, thank you very much, and the organizers for trying to speak on behalf of the community we have been doing research with. Project Angkatha is to deal with the issue of education. Which one goes for? Oh, okay. This coordination of the technology is quite a bit of effort in itself. For the sake of some of us, I thought as a disciplinary background or where we come from, we should try to state what we think innovation should be or what it should not be. And in that sense, what I mean by innovation, particularly in a tribal context, implies who is defining that innovation, for whom is that being defined, and why. In that sense, innovation has to be also culturally appropriate, not only economically and socially, but also culturally appropriate. And in that sense, I think innovation has to be context-driven. And in a specific context, innovation makes a sense. What we need to keep in mind is that in Andamans, which is the context from where we are talking about, there are PVTGs, and PVTGs are in some ways
for some of you who may not be aware of it, stands for the term particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And in some sense, it's very interesting. It's not all tribes, but they're PVTGs. And they number quite significant within the Indian population at large and the tribal population, as you can see the statistics there. But on the Andaman Islands, there are has been a constant decline of the PVTGs. In about 18,000, there were 38,000 of them. And by today, the calculation comes to only 690. A lot of it has happened because of the impact of colonialism and what exactly is meant by PVTG is that they are the groups of people who are identified constitutionally by Indian government as people who lack agriculture, lack a certain level of education, are not dependent on anything much more than forest resources, and they have a significantly low birth rate and are subject to certain kind of exploitation from the outside world. This makes Jarvas, why is this? Okay. Could change it to the next one, please. Good, jump further. No, I'll do it because it will get. Is this the one to move forward? Okay. Jarvas, like the other characteristic of the PTGs, move from place to place, or rather are identified as translocating group. So they're not fixed at one part of the forest. They're constantly moving from part to part depending on the resources and the seasonal availability. It was only till by about 2000, year 2000, that the Jarvas first came into non-hostile, self-decided contact with the outside world. Till that point, the Jarvas were basically hostile to the outside world, and this is hopeless. No, I think I got it. The hostility was ended by sequence of friendly contacts. As you can see, a picture from the year 1999, when ships loaded with gifts would go into the territory of the Java region and try to establish contact. This led to finally in the year 2000 a change of what is known as coming out. And the change you can see even visually how the people changed and how the impact of the society of the outsiders traveling through the Java Reserve Forest had its impact. Though the area is restricted and the traffic is controlled, the outsiders' contact brought things into their society. You can see how, in some ways, the outside influences were significantly visible. Now, given this kind of changes which has happened, the issue became how do we deal with these people, particularly their identity and their cultural loss, which was happening because of the outside contact. In India, the position has been either you keep tribals in isolation, as was the case with Nehru and Verrier Elvin, or you try to incorporate them, you acculturate them. And the third alternative, which we are trying to propose here, or some of the other academicians have done and some of the policymakers are prone to, is to see it in terms of giving the Jarvas a sense of agency so that they can decide what course of action they want for their sustainable futures and to sustain their future in their terms as opposed to us imposing a policy on them or imposing and giving them an idea of what should be innovated. The innovation should come from them. And for that, the four major points which we had identified was to protection of their land, protection of their life and livelihoods, protection of their language and cultural identity, and ensuring a path to self-determination. In order to do this, education was one of the means whereby education should be based in their content, their lifestyle, and their concerns and their language. But it should not be just to prepare them to become part of our society so that they can take up some job which could be just to fill in a SC/ST category. But they should not be also alienated from the forest which they want to connect with or remain connected with. So the focus was to create a bicultural, bilingual school system, and the model of schooling was based on bicultural implies the outside world as well as their own world both become part of the curriculum. So they're not disconnected to it. And bilingual means that in some ways their language is also nurtured, because over the generations with the contact, the languages are lost. It has already happened with some of the other PVTGs on the island, and Jarvas are still the ones which have maintained it, and we want to maintain it. But they should also learn Hindi so that they can communicate to the outside world and may not be exploited. For instance, they were not aware of a system of counting, which the outsider people will say, हमने तुमको बहुत चावल दिया है, तुम हमको थोड़ा केकड़ा दो. Now the difference between chawal and kekra in the price is a big difference. So how do you explain that? They must be also able to know the language in our cultural systems. This led to the idea of education which should be place-based learning and should be phenomena-based learning. What is meant by place-based learning is that what kind of environment provides them with what kind of, I think something is loose there. Place-based, I think it's not the slide which you have lost it. Go further down. Okay, we got it right. Thank you, we got it. Okay. Place-based means about their forest, about the content of that forest, the environment, the ecology as they understand it should be articulated. And what is meant by phenomena-based learning implies that what are the things which are important for them. I think I'll skip some of the slides to take you to the real point. We created, as they move from place to place, we created different locations which are called hotspots or anahole chadda. Anahole means to talk, to have conversations. And at those conversation points, we have set up schools. There are the two images which we started with 2014, the schools at Putatang and Fultalla. Till 2014, they were unable to count beyond 3. Could you have, I think there's a sound clip at that video. Niche hoga. Just turn it on. What is surprising is that since 2014, they only counted till 3. And now the situation has changed, and in 2 years, we have brought them capable of trying to even do multiplication tables. Now this numeracy is important, and the Jarvas themselves are teaching them. So the elder children are involved to teach the younger children, and the eldest parents are also involved in teaching them their own indigenous knowledge, their techniques and technologies of how to make things from the forest resources. So that's not lost. In fact, that tradition, that technology must be kept alive. Now, to do this bicultural, bilingual educational program, we had to devise some system whereby we took the Devanagari script, but we changed the words to introduce the sound system so that they can read in Hindi tomorrow once they get into the mainstream, and they have started reading it. But the words used for it is not like A for arm, but A for ab. Ab is a word in Jarva for kathal or the jackfruit. So in that sense, it is not alienating, it is connected to that place. So this whole system has been developed, and you can see how we have inserted images not only of our world but also of their world, which they are seeing. For instance, Anak is something which is known to them. They see me there doing the field work. They see some of the government officials having ghadi. In fact, they think it's a very fashionable thing to wear a watch even if you can't read the time. So, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, that's it. The children now come from different parts. If you go to the prior one, please. The children from different part of the forest come. Some are brought into the jeep, some walk their way. Earlier days, they had no uniform and they used to be very excited. Then they started learning this idea, school jana hai to naha dho ke jana chahiye, which of course was some of the part which we were also trying to teach them so that health and hygiene becomes a part of it. The women also come there to accompany with them so that they also learn about what we are teaching them about the outside world and what they can conserve about their own world. At that point in the schools, what Dr. Mojumdar has developed is something which we call as Angvahini. So the women who come to the school go back and serve as the first medical group. So in the forest, there is no doctor which is regularly available. They have to be brought out of the forest. But some immediate attention can be given. So we are trying to develop, in fact, we were very heartening to hear all the innovation done in the diagnostic medicine. Some of it could be taken in the forest, so that before they can be pulled out and put on a helicopter to go to airport and from there to Madras, something could be done immediately. But the women are being trained into basic medicine for head. So we have classified the medicines in color-coded boxes with the image of the body and each part. Next, please. Next. Forward. Further. 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 Yeah. The textbooks which we have developed as a part of the lesson are based on their 4 seasons. Each season is associated with a particular specific form of hunting. So the school moves from place to place depending on the resources, and the children from that forest come also to that particular school to attend. Go ahead. Here are some example of pages of the text which we have created. For instance, this is the one based on the honey season. So it introduces them to the bird which identify the honey. So there's a sense of ornithology. Something about their flowers by which they identify the flavors of the honey which would be created. So there's something about the kind of flower culture. So it's not just giving honey, but it's giving zoology, entomology, ornithology together with it. In that sense, that is how they learn. That is how their forefathers have learned. And it is that knowledge which we want to continue giving through this bicultural, bilingual thing. Honey season also implies to create those containers for carrying honey. So that becomes a craft which we have to maintain. So the elder comes to the school and teaches this so that that thing is sustained. Next, please. Similarly, the women come and teach some of the ways in which they weave the nets. Next. One of the things which has happened to the school is the elder children who come there, teenagers mostly, they have created what we have created as Ang Sena. They are responsible for catching the people who are poachers or illegal encroachers in that area, and that helps. Yes. Okay, I think my time is over. I'll just jump further. I'll come to the concluding slide. So these are some of the crafts which we are trying to develop, and we think we could perhaps create a niche market for them as the arts and crafts which are produced through the school. Go ahead further. That's it. Go back. Go back further, please. I was told that I should make certain kind of pitch for what actually we need, or what guidance and advice we need from you people. Some of the things which we want to develop is that the textbooks which we have created, we want to digitize it. And digitize it because we want to create something called as a digital atlas, whereby each season what is happening and what is changing in that landscape can be recorded digitally by the Jarvas and the school collaboration. And it could be kept so that outside world could know about it through the net. Also, the outside science and technology could be brought in. For instance, beekeeping, modern beekeeping instead of bringing somebody in as an intrusion into their community, which the government is very careful not to happen, they can see it on the net and give some ideas of how the beekeeping could be innovated, adapted to that situation. The Javas have also this interest in trying to create a museum for themselves. Go ahead. Which is based on a which we call as a custodianship, joint custodianship. What Javas and the other PTJs would like to keep in the museum, not what the Anthropological Survey or the National Museum wants to be kept in a museum. For instance, Javas say, I do want a empty bottle of purified water bottle, because that has become very important container for everything. You know, the rice is also held in it. And so they will not only want traditional things, but also how change has happened for them. And that documentation is good, because that's a kind of cultural heritage which loses very rapidly. I think I'll end with that. That's a slogan which we have created for the children, and that's what they recite. And I think in some ways it really brings out the essence of what our school is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this interesting innovation and mainstreaming the society and culturally empowering them. Now, मैं अब invite करूँगा Mr. सुनील महादू कामाती साहब को. सर, आप 8 मिनट में कोशिश करें कि जो मेन बातें हैं वो लोगों तक पहुँच जाएं. Thank you.
नमस्कार. आदरणीय व्यासपीठ, तसेच समोरील बसलेले माझे मायबाप. मी आदिवासी समाजातून आलेला एक शेतकरी आहे. माझं नाव सुनील महादू कांबळे, राहणार डेंगाचीमेट, तालुका जव्हार, जिल्हा पालघर. आमच्याकडे मुख्यतः भाताचं पीक घेतलं जातं, त्याच्यावरच सर्व आमचं जीवन अवलंबून असतं. मध्यंतरी काळामध्ये ज्या आमच्याकडे गावठी भाताच्या जाती होत्या त्या सर्व नष्ट झाल्या, लोप झाल्या. आणि मग शेती करायची म्हटली तर मग बाजारातून बियाणं घेऊन यायचं, लावायचं. त्याच्यामध्ये खर्च म्हणजे वाढला. परंतु 2008 साली बायक मित्र संस्थेच्या माध्यमातून आमच्याकडे बियाणे संवर्धन समिती स्थापन केली. त्याच्यामध्ये पाटील सरांचं फार मोठं योगदान आहे. आणि नंतर मग आम्ही कामाला एक जुटीने लागलो. त्याच्यात त्यांच्या संपर्कामुळे एक नवीन भाताची जी वाण आहे त्याचा शोध लागला. आम्ही जेव्हा जे आमच्याकडं गावठी भाताच्या जाती आम्ही थोड्या संवर्धन केलेल्या, त्यांच्यातूनच एक अशी नवीन जात तयार झाली का ज्याला लोंब्या चांगल्या म्हणजे होता, उंची चांगली म्हणजे होती. कारण आमच्याकडं गावठी भाताच्या जाती आहेत ते कशा पावसाळी पडतात जास्त. तर एक नवीन लोंबीमुळं सर्व जीवनच म्हणजे बदलून गेलं. त्याला फुटवे चांगले म्हणजे होते, दाण्याचा आकार चांगला होता, लांबी चांगली होती. मग ती मी निवड पद्धतीने भाताला अजून म्हणजे वाढवलं. 3-4 म्हणजे खरीप आणि हंगामामध्ये त्याची लागवड केली आणि जास्तीत जास्त शेतकऱ्यांपर्यंत ती पाठवली. त्याला फुटवे 30 ते 35 म्हणजे येतात. उंची 1 मीटरपर्यंत आहे. परत त्याचे एक विशेष गुणधर्म आहे काय, त्याला तांबेरा रोग आणि करपा रोग त्याच्यावरती येत नाही. आणि परत त्याच्यातून हेक्टरी 40 ते 45 पोती भात मिळू शकतं. आणि ह्या भातासाठी मी माझ्या पोरीचं नाव अश्विनी हे दिलेलं आहे. आणि 2012-13 मध्ये PPV अथॉरिटीकडून माझा सत्कार झालेला आहे. आणि अशी आमची जीवनाची वाटचाल चालू आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये जर अजून आम्हाला थोडं जर सहकार्य भेटलं तर आम्ही त्याच्यातून आपला जो गावठी भात आहे किंवा माझी जात आहे ती आम्ही प्रोसेसिंग करून आणि पॅकिंग करून मार्केटपर्यंत किंवा शहरापर्यंत पाठवू शकतो. त्याच्यामध्ये कसं सर्व गावाचा म्हणजे विकास होऊ शकतो. जी तरुण म्हणजे मंडळी आहे ती गाव सोडून साईडला चालली, त्यांना पण काम धंदा मिळू शकतो. एवढे बोलून 2 शब्द संपतो. धन्यवाद.
Namaste, I'm Sanjay. I'm working with BIAP and I'm working with these tribal innovators, these grassroots innovators since last 11 years. I had completed my BTech from UDCT and it's my pleasure that I had a chance to meet Dr. Mashelkar sir and great personalities in the country. What is the innovation? As all of you know, seed is a soul of agriculture and it's a community resource, but now it is not in the hands of community and there are no alternatives with the technology to this climate change, food security and nutritional security. So BIAP has initiated this conservation of agrobiodiversity with community participation since 2008 and just I want to tell you what is the status in this tribal community and about the seed. So dependency of seed on the market, these hybrid varieties cannot be used, cannot be multiplied, and again there are no solutions for these changing climatic situations, and these indigenous varieties conserved and revived by communities since years and ages, but now because of some technological intervention this diversity has lost, but now again there need to revive this diversity and it should be with community participation. Next. So what is the innovation by Sunil? Sunil has selected one panicle which has more than 650 grains in a single panicle, and he has multiplied for 3 years, that means 6 generations, and now the variety which came is a drought resistant, which can grow in upland, lowland, again having resistance for rust and leaf curl, having grains of more than 290 to 300, which is non-lodging, non-shattering, and having good taste. And this is and again this variety can be possible to multiply number of times. And now the area under these varieties increasing on large scale because it can suited in different situations. Next. So BIAP has done this morphological characterization of these diversity. It has medium height, short, long, short, bold, slender grains, and strong stem, which is non-lodging and can withstand in adverse situations. Next. So now what is the next plan? Distribution of these elite germplasm with him to some innovative farmers, production of seed, then large scale multiplication through self-help groups and distribution in the community, and establishing seed bank. Next. So next. So what is the this increasing area under seed production and its marketing? Then registration, already this variety I applied for registration of PPO, which is the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Right Authority in the country. The authority people visited and they have recognized this farmer. It is under testing and under registration. So maintaining this multiplication of these varieties is the main thing. Next. 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 Then what will be happen? What will happen after these? This availability of quality seed material, farmer can produce, exchange this quality seed. Then farmers has an option for this climatic situation. This is the innovation by him, and now this variety is under large scale production. Elite germplasm with Sunil, and also Sunil has declared that though he has developed this variety, he will not apply for patents and these things. He want to keep this variety as an open source. So this is the one of the great innovation by him. Scientists from different parts of country and world visited that location, Jawar Reserve, which is a tribal belt, hilly area, and he has taken education till 10th, but through keen observation, he has selected that pinnacle, and by selective breeding, he has developed that variety. So these the grassroots innovators, what I have seen in my 11 years of experience in these 5 tribal communities in Maharashtra, so these are the real scientists, and some of the PhD students, they are coming there and doing their PhDs. These scientists. So it's one of the very good forum to felicitate these innovations, and support for these innovation is very much to upscale these innovation on large scale. Thank you.
थैंक यू सुनील सर फॉर इस इनोवेशन के लिए. उम्मीद है इससे बहुत कुछ फ़ायदा होगा कम्युनिटीज़ को और उनके फूड सिक्योरिटी को और सारी चीज़ों को, उनके इनकम को भी. तो वी सल्यूट यू सर. नाउ आई एम इनवाइटिंग Shrimati Rahibai Popre. She has again worked on the agrobiodiversity and indigenous varieties. So she is collecting the seed and trying to preserve the indigenous varieties. So she is contributing a lot in this. So मैडम आप आइए और 8-10 मिनट में आप अपना बातों को रखिए.
नमस्कार सगळ्यांना. माझा नमस्कार. माझं नाव राईबाई सोमा कोपेरे, राहणार कोंबाणे, तालुका अकोले, जिल्हा अहमदनगर. कोंबाणेची एक कोपेरवाडी म्हणून तिथं वस्तीमध्ये माझं शेत आहे आणि शेतातच आम्ही राहतो. तर आता हे भाजी पिकांचं बेण्यावर काम करीत असते मी. तर पहिला बचत गट तयार केला. आमचा खूप दुर्मिळ भाग आहे, पाणी नाही, शिव तिथं कुठली मजुरी नाही, काम नाही, काही नाही. मग आम्ही बचत गट तयार केले. तर बचत गटाच्या माध्यमातून मग मी थोडं सुरक्षित चालवलं. आता तर मग आता बचत गटाच्या माध्यमातून खूप आता सगळं जुनं ते म्हणते सोनं, जुनं बी सगळं जायला लागलं, सगळं हरवायला लागलं. आणि कृषी खात्याकडून आपलं संकरित खत, संकरित बेणं, संकरित भाजीपाला हे येऊ लागलं. तर आमच्या बचत गटांच्या माध्यमातून त्याच्यामध्ये खूप आजार वाढू लागले. आजार वाढता मीच लक्षामध्ये घेतलं का आपले आजार कशाने वाढत आहेत, आपले लहान मुलं लहान बाळं कशाने आजारी पडत आहेत. तर नवीन पालिका जुन्यांचं ऐकत नव्हती. सगळं बाजारातून आणायचं, संकरित भाजीपाला, संकरित खाणं, त्याच्यापासून आजार वाढले. मग मी माझ्या घरातच सुधारणा केली का संकरित खाणं थोडं कमी केलं आणि गावरांना कळलं आपल्या दारातच भाजीपाला सांडपाण्यावर किंवा परसबाग 1-2 वेळ लावायचे, असे मी त्याची सुधारणा केली. माझ्या घरातच सुधारणा झाली. तर मी माझ्या गटांमध्ये सुद्धा सुधारणा केली. आता माझे नातवंड आठवड्याला समजा दवाखान्यात नेत होते, तर आता 1-1 वर्ष दवाखान्यात मी नेत नाही. आणि आमच्या गावात आणि गटात पण ही सुधारणा केली. त्याच्यातून मग मी अशा ठिकठिकाणी मेळावे घेऊन बचत गटाच्या बाहेरगावच्या लोकांना मेळावे घेऊन त्यांचं माहिती दिलं, त्यांना सुधारणा केली. त्यांच्यापासून हे बेन पाकिटाचं समजा घेवडा तो आहे, बुटका घेवडा, लाल घेवडा, काळा घेवडा, पताड्या घेवडा, गबरा घेवडा, सरवण घेवडा, असे 8 जातीचे घेवडे आहेत माझ्याकडे. वाल, गोडवाल, कडवाल हे सगळे. तर याची सगळी भाजी आपल्या आहारामध्ये, आमच्या परिसरामध्ये मी सगळ्यांना पाकिटं करून 3-3.5 हजार रुपये पाकिटं करून वाटले. मी पहिली डोक्यावर पाणी वाहून नर्सरी केली फळझाडांची. पहिल्यांदा ते फळझाडं वाटले बचत गटाच्या माध्यमातून. नंतर हळदी कुंकाच्या माध्यमातून मी वाण म्हणून एक महिला गोळा करून एक हळदी कुंकाचं वाण म्हणून ते फळझाडं वाटले. नंतर मला बाईक मित्रांचं मार्गदर्शन भेटलं, कारण हे मी पहिलं स्वतःच करत होते. बाईक मित्रांचं मार्गदर्शन भेटल्यावर हे काम मला बाहेर पाठवलं मी. आणि बाईक मित्र सुद्धा असे खेड्यापाड्यानी साठे सर, पाटील सर यांचं मार्गदर्शन मला भेटल्यानंतर माझं काम चांगलं चालू झालं. आता मी तर शिकलेली नाही अजिबात. तुम्ही तर म्हणतात का शिकलेली नाही, ही महिला एवढी काम करते. तर हे काम खरोखर माझं शिकायचं म्हणणं, तर आमची लहानपणीच आई मरून गेली आणि माझ्या 2 बहिणी, एक 6 महिन्याची होती आणि एक 2 वर्षाची होती. त्यांना सांभाळ करता करता बापाची गरिबी होती, त्यामुळं मला शिक्षण घेता आलं नाही. पण माझे वडील घरच्या घरीच शिक्षण द्यायचं. ते खूप औषधं द्यायचे, किंवा सामाजिक काम करायचे, मग ते असं नाही असं करायचं, तसं नाही तसं वागायचं, हे औषधं लोकांना द्यायचे. मी त्याच्यावर बारीक लक्ष ठेवून, तर हे माझ्या वडिलांचंच मला शिक्षण आहे. मी एक सांगते, माझे वडील पण शिकलेले नव्हते आणि मी पण शिकले नाही. एकतर आमच्या खेड्यापाड्यानी शाळा नव्हत्या, अंगणवाड्या नव्हत्या, बालवाड्या नव्हत्या त्या टायमाला. नंतर शाळा झाल्या, पण माझे आई वारल्यामुळं, बहिणी लहान असल्यामुळं मला शिक्षण घेता आलं नाही. नंतर मग काही माहीत नव्हतं आम्हाला, शेतामध्ये घर, चूल आणि मूल आणि शेत, हे याच्याशिवाय काही माहीत नव्हतं. पण मग बचत गट केले, बचत गटापासून आम्हाला बाईक मित्रांचं मार्गदर्शन भेटलं. मग एका हातानं आमच्या जवळ काम चालू होतं, जवळच्या जवळ घरच्या घरापाशी समजा बचत गटातून. पण हे बाईक मित्रांचं मार्गदर्शन भेटल्यामुळं मी हे काम चौक पांगावलं. आणि माझं तर एक असा छंद आहे का, गावरान बँका तयार केलेली. तिथे मी गेल्या वर्षी 16 जातीच्या टायरमध्ये भात करून दाखवले. आणि 1 वर्ष फळझाडं तयार, 4 ते 5 वर्ष फळझाडं तयार केली डोक्यावर पाणी वाहून. 1 वर्ष मी भाजीपाल्याचे नर्सरी केली. तिथे जवळजवळ 5,000 पिशव्या भरून आणि प्रत्येक महिलांना वाटले. तर आमच्या परिसरामध्ये प्रत्येकाच्या दारामध्ये 1 ते 2 वेल आहेत किंवा शेतामध्ये आहेत. तर रोज ताजा भाजीपाला, 8 महिने तरी आम्ही बाजारचा भाजीपाला आणून खात नाही, घरचाच भाजीपाला खातो. आणि हेच मला लोकांपासून पोहोचवायचे का लोकांचे सुद्धा मुलं आपलेच आहेत, जनता सुद्धा आपलीच आहे. जसं आम्ही सुरक्षित झाले अशी जनता सुद्धा सुरक्षित हो. आणि तुम्ही म्हणशाल का आता नोकरीला लोक आहे, त्यांना कुठं येल लावा, कुठं भाजीपाला लावा, तर ते कुंडीमध्ये करायचे. एक कुंडीमध्ये बी झाड लावलं, वांग्याचं झाड लावलं तरी ताजा भाजीपाला भेटतो, मिरचीचं झाड लावलं. आणि हा घेवडा जे आहे 3 वर्ष, एक वेल 3 वर्ष चालत असतो, तर कुंडीमध्ये सुद्धा हे वेल लावू शकतो. आणि हे बी आम्हाला बरंच बाईक मित्राच्या असं गावोगाव पाठवायचं. तर मी एक छोटीची, आमची शेणा मातीचे घर आहेत आणि तिथे छोटीची बँका तयार केलेली आहे. तर ते बेनं पाऊस जरी नाही पडला तरी नुसते हवेवर येणारं बे नाही. आणि त्याच्यापासून एक ताकद आहे का, आपल्या संकरित खाण्याने ताकद सगळी कमी झालेली आहे. आणि हे गावरान खाण्याने, गावरान भाजीपाल्यानं आमच्या मुली अजून सुद्धा दवाखान्यामध्ये सहसा डिलेवरला जाते नाही. आणि शहरामध्ये 3 महिने मुला दिवस गेले का तसा दवाखाना, शेवटी तिचं शिदिरच होणार. तर हे शिदिर आम्हाला कमी करायचंय हे सुद्धा कमी करायचंय. याच्यावर माझं पूर्ण विश्वास आहे का आपण जर गावरान भाजीपाला आपण बाजारातून आणतो, पण त्याच्यावर किती विषारी असतं, खत देईल, फवारा मारेल. आम्ही गावठी गांडूळ खत तयार करतो, गांडूळ पाणीच त्या भाजीपाल्याला मारतो, इतर औषध मारित नाही. हा गांडूळ पाणी मारायचं, त्यांनी सगळं कीटकनाशक संपून जातं. आणि गांडूळ खतच वापरतो. तर त्या गांडूळ खतामध्ये इतकी ताकद आहे का जुने लोक 1-1 पोत्याचं वजन घेऊन डोक्यावर जात होते. आता मी सुद्धा जवळजवळ 5-5 किलोमीटर चालून येते कुठं जायचं असलं मला तर, कारण गाडीची सोय नाही आमच्याकडं. एवढंच माझं म्हणणं आहे. मग ह्या कामाला समजा तुमच्या आमच्याकडून जर हातभार लागला तर हे काम चांगलंच मोठं पुढे जाईल. आणि हे काम, एक छोटीची बँका झाली तर ते बँकेचे पाकिट मी जवार, सुरगाणा, नाशिक, पुणे असे गावोगाव पण पाठवले आमच्या बाईक मित्रांच्या माध्यमातून. आणि शेतकऱ्यांना सुद्धा बचत गटातून पाठवलेले. तर हे माझं एक म्हणणं आहे का, मला सगळ्यांच्या हाताने जर काम मोठं झालं, किंवा माझी छोटी बँक आहे झोपडीमध्ये, तिथे सगळी बेण्याचं, ही बँकेला जर चौकून हातभार लावला, बँका जर मोठी केली, अजून महाराष्ट्रामध्ये तुमच्या आमच्या मदतीनं जाईल. हे माझ्या एकटीच्या मदतीनं नाही, किंवा आमचे बाईक संस्थेचे तर आहेतच, पाटील सर, हे साठे सर, हे पार डोंगर दऱ्यातून फिरून, उन्हात आणायचं फिरून हे बाईक मित्रांना, गरीब स्त्रियांना, गरीब लोकांवर त्यांचं काम चालू आहे. आणि खरोखर हे बाईक मित्र नसलं तर आमच्या दुर्गम भागामध्ये, खेड्यामध्ये आम्हाला अजून काही सुद्धा माहीत नसतं. पण हे खरोखर पार पायी फिरून, उन्हात आणण्यामध्ये फिरून हे मार्गदर्शन महिलांना देतात. आणि आता निकल अडाणी महिला सुद्धा अशा सुरक्षित आणतात. आणि मी सुद्धा खेड्यापाड्याने बांधावर उभं राहून शेतकऱ्यांच्या बांधव, आम्ही एक कळसुबाई म्हणून 10 गावच्या 10 लोकांची कमिटी मी केलेली आहे. त्या कमिटीच्या माध्यमातून आम्ही 10 लोक शेतकऱ्यांच्या बांधव जाऊन उभं राहून शेतकऱ्यांना माहिती देऊन, शेतकऱ्यांचे बेणे, आमचे हे गावरान बेणे त्यांना देऊन शेतकऱ्यांचं जास्त वाढवायचं काम चाललेलं आहे. तर कळसुबाई समिती एक त्याला नाव दिलेले आहे शेतकऱ्यांची. आणि बाहेरूनही बी बेणं न्यायला, जशी काय आता बँकेमध्ये कशी लाईन लागते अशी बेणं न्यायला पण माझ्याकडून खूप मोठमोठे लोक त्या माझ्या झोपडीमध्ये लाईनला येतात. तर हे एवढं तर नाही, पण मला असं वाटतं का पार महाराष्ट्रामध्ये गावरान बेणं गेलं पाहिजे, गावरान खाणं भेटलं पाहिजे. आणि हे गांडूळ खत, हे गांडूळ पाणी हे शेतकऱ्यापासून पोहोचलं पाहिजे, प्रत्येक शेतकऱ्याने केलं पाहिजे. हे एक माझं मन आहे बघा, का आपले पुढच्या पिढीला हे जुनं जे आहे, हे जुनं ते सोनं म्हणतात, हे जुनं सगळं बुडाया आलेले. बरंच आता शहरवस्तीमध्ये हे पुढच्या पिढीसाठी आपल्याला काहीतरी लावून धरायचंय. तर ते पुढच्या पिढीसाठी कसं टिकून राहील, हे तुमच्या आमच्या मदतीनं टिकून राहील. मी तर म्हणते माझ्या एकटीच्या मदतीनं किती दिवस टिकणार आहे समजा. आणि ही बँक जर अशी चौकून मोठी झाली तर अजूनच मोठं काम करायचं, अशी एक माझी इच्छा आहे बा. नमस्कार सगळ्यांना माझा.
We are sir. We are searching for solutions on climate change, food security, nutritional security. The solutions are exist with the people like Rai Bhai. So our program is also on the same thing, community adaptation on climate change for food security and nutrition. Just I will go through a few slides in 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. She already shared about her. Next. See how some innovative technology she adopted, she promoted. 4-step method of paddy cultivation developed by one of the university. Now she is promoting. Then again line transplantation for yield improvement. Again improving these sustainable agriculture practices, organic farming. She is as a resource person. She is going in different parts of the Maharashtra. Again she has developed a seed selection technologies for improving yield of these indigenous varieties. Also she had different varieties. Next. Yeah. She reached up to 178 farmers for rice. Then 3,700 packets of kitchen gardens she prepared, distributed, and that seed can be used for long time again. There are few types of beans with her which can grow in on drought conditions, which can give better yield, which are used for perennial one, annual, perennial, which can give yield for 3-4 years. So these different types are with her. Then again these evaluation of this diversity now going on at MPKV Rahuri. Also the application for her varieties filed to PPFR New Delhi. Next. So these are some types just I mentioned in rice. There are drought resistance, nutritionally rich, and again for these different climatic situations. Next. So these are some bean types, which are total 18 bean types with her, which can grow early, late, mid-late, drought resistant, deep water, then which can sustain in high rainfall. There are no solutions with the technology, but solutions lies with her. Next. So these are the different rice varieties, scented, non-scented, having good taste, rice for delivery weakness, rice for fracture recovery. These rice still exist in these tribal areas, and these innovators maintaining this diversity. Next. So she has been awarded and recognized by different scientific communities in different parts of country. Next. So now need to strengthening a village level seed saver network, then community level seed production of these origins, upscaling of these unique and worthy land races which have been conserved by her. And there is a sustainability plan also. These are the individual seed saver, then seed producer farmer, village level seed committees are there, and again at block level seed saver committee for maintaining this diversity and upscaling this diversity. Next. So like these in situ centers where we are seeing it at university, but she is maintaining in his small farm as per the national and international guidelines. YF is just supporting for data collection. Next. Next. So through these nutritional security, through kitchen gardens, these diverse biodiversity will be conserved, and which has solutions for these climate resilient and nutrition point of view. Strengthening this community level network needs support for her to facilitate and training related activities. Want to develop a good seed bank at her home, and now half minute. Good seed bank where there will be a proper storage of these seeds well constructed, well equipped seed bank over there, so that these origins can be conserved, revived, and use its sustainability. And all these origins with her, she also declared that it will be a seed is not a thing to sell, it's it for exchange. So she has given these origins to seed saver community, and which are under registration. Thank you.
थैंक यू मैडम फॉर इतना सारा काम आप कैसे कर 32 वैरायटीज़ को आप सेव कर रही हैं जो लोकल कम्युनिटी के, और वी सल्यूट दिस barefoot innovators of the communities. A big round of applause from I'm expecting from all of you. Now I'm inviting Dr. Girish Jathar Saab. He is working to conserve the biodiversity and tribal culture in Mishmi Hills in Arunachal Pradesh. So this is another very important where the kind of development we are experiencing, the kind of disintegration going on. Dr. Saab, I request you to present in 8 to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Respected Dr. Mashelkar, Mr. Prashant Girbane, Satish Pradhan sir, dignitaries on dais, and Pune Innovation Center. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to present our idea here. This is a wonderful opportunity to showcase what we are trying to do in Mishmi Hills. And I'm also bringing my friend Ipra Mekola, who is a representative of Idu Mishmi tribe, and he's a hardcore conservationist, and he is really concerned about the livelihood of the Idu Mishmi tribe. Today our society is standing on a crossroads. The development is on other side and the conservation is on another side. And we see here they can actually complement each other, they can go hand in hand, and we can do a wonderful job. Here we are attempting to do the same thing. We are trying to bring the human development and biodiversity conservation on a same platform. If you can see on my on the backdrop, here is a beautiful view of Mishmi Hills. So, and we are trying to present a unique case of Mishmi Hills where we attempt to bring sustainable livelihood and the biodiversity conservation on a single platform. So this is a beautiful hills of Mishmi, and you can see on the far end there is a big basin of Brahmaputra river. Next. So what is the opportunity we are seeing here? We don't call it as a problem, it's an opportunity for us. Being one of the remote place in India, there are hardly any livelihood opportunities exist here. Subsistence agriculture, hunting and gathering are the means of survival here, and sometimes these people take part in Narega schemes. But livelihood in such a livelihood is not a very big thing over there. It's a tribal means of life. It appears that the delicate fabric of biodiversity and livelihood are decoupled here. That is primarily because our existing developmental policies undermine the importance of ecosystem as well as the people embedded in that ecosystem. But here we see an opportunity where we can bring both the things together and work out on some strategy which will benefit both the entities. Next. Why Mishmi Hills? Mishmi Hills is one of the embedded in one of the mega biodiversity hotspots of the world. There are hardly any place in India where you can see such a kind of a biodiversity. There are 6,000 plant species, about 100 mammal species, 680 bird species, which is half of the India's birds in this region. We have around 500 varieties of orchids, 50 species of rhododendrons, and you can see the pink plants, vegetation here, these are rhododendrons. We have animals like clouded leopard, which are so elusive that hardly some people have seen them, these animals in the world. Such a beautiful landscape is the Mishmi Hills. Next. We call it as an abode of threatened species. We have 6 globally threatened bird species here. We have a Bengal floricon, which is critically endangered. We have vultures here. We have parrotbills. Very, very, very beautiful, very nice birds, very endangered birds. We have a red panda, We have Hello gibbon, which is only primate in India which is tailless. It doesn't have a tail like chimpanzee and gorilla. Then we have a mishmitakin, which is one of the rarest animal on this earth. And this is what we call as a abode of threatened species. Next. Now this is a map which is a little difficult to see, but you can see the Arunachal Pradesh in a green dot over there on the extreme right of extreme left of India, and you can see a circle, not a circle, square, which is a place where this project is going to happen. You can see Mehau Wildlife Sanctuary in a pink color, and you can see a yellow dot over there, that is a Idu Mishmi land, which is about 50 square kilometer, and it is adjoining to Dibang Reserve, Reserve Forest, which is yellow in color, and on the left hand side you can see another red patch, that is Diring National Park. So this particular place is actually a corridor from where the animals from Mehau Wildlife Sanctuary could migrate to Dibang Reserve and the Diring National Park, and that is why this particular space is having a real importance. Next. Now I invite my friend Ipra Mekola, who can talk about the communities over there and how we started this initiative.
Thank you. I will continue rather. So how we have campaigned with the people. The conservation is a very important part. In this during this conservation, I happen to come across lots of problems in my individual lives. So a single man cannot do a work on conservation. So we need lots of people. As I have gathered my own people, but there are certain big people it is required. And I had been wondering with the government also, but they are paid, but they are not ready to help us. But there are certain NGOs, they are not paid, a pay-less job, but they really help. So I happen to wander all over the country now, I should say. Now when I'm in Pune, at least we have touched some part of our country like that. My Mishmi can say like that. So I approached one of my friend from BNHS, and they had been helping lots of people. So in my Mishmi Hill, I have a good scope. You need not go to plant new plants, just conserve. And you need not introduce new birds. There are lots of birds which is to be researched. And some of our people, my localities, they should keep for monitoring the things. So that's why I have come here, just to introduce a small part of our country, India. It's Mishmi, and I think you all will help me to conserve this Mishmi Hill, to show to the next world. Thank you.
Thank you for coming here. We welcome you, sir, and we learn from you a lot. Thank you.
So what is the solution? So this is a mega biodiversity hotspot, and it's ideal for ecotourism. Idum women and men are excellent craftsmen, and there is ample scope for doing allied alternative livelihoods there, and we are thinking on that, how we can engage these people in doing different livelihoods. However, our main focus is to set up an ecotourism establishment in Jimbo village, from where we can start our work of conservation as well as creating a livelihood for the local people. We have already initiated dialogue with the community, and since last 6 months, IPRA and we are working towards the talking with community, spreading awareness, and we are going to form a biodiversity management committee very soon. So that is the first step for the conservation. We also look forward for self-governing enterprise, which will be run by these people, and they will take it forward, and they will show the world that conservation and livelihood and people's tribal rights can brought together. And the first step we have already started, that we have initiated biodiversity management committee. We will soon form it and communicate with the Arunachal Biodiversity Board and start our work. Next. This intervention will certainly help the community of the Jimbo village and create awareness among other communities which are residing in this region, and it will certainly strengthen our work to take it forward. But we are looking forward to demonstrate how human development can contribute to wildlife conservation. The knowledge of Idu hunters, they are excellent hunters, by the way, can provide us a vital information about threatened flora and fauna of the region, and it will help us in conservation science as well as wildlife management. Very interestingly, the biodiversity-based livelihood, community empowerment, and biodiversity conservation contribute to Aichi targets, and that is a part of National Biodiversity Strategic Action Plan. Like for international or national level, our work will contribute from India's side. That these are the things which we are doing for conservation of biodiversity. And the last, if successful, this project can be replicated under National Rural Livelihood Mission, especially in Northeast India, because there are a lot of places in Northeast India where this particular initiative can be replicated. Next. So what are the outcomes? We expect self-sustaining and income-generating mechanism for the community, which demonstrates self-governance, community leadership, and good management system. This could be the first example where the livelihood, community conserved area, people's biodiversity register are successfully implemented. Next. And the last, the financial things. Some corporate houses have already shown interest in our work. However, we are seeking a long-term commitment from them, at least 5 or more years, so that this initiative can be taken forward. We are also in dialogue with TISS. Dr. Pandey is here, who are willing to extend their support to weave the social fabric of community development. We are also looking forward for professional help in training community members, basic administration, hospitality management, and along with that, we need expert advice from you people for marketing, networking, and developing customer relationship. With support from you all, we are sure that this endeavor of Idu Mishmi people and BNHS will be successful. Thank you very much.
Now, exactly 10 minutes are remaining. I'm inviting Mr. Madhu Lekmi साहब. वो बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग इनोवेशन किए हैं वो कैटफिश कंजर्वेशन के लिए और उनकी ब्रीडिंग के लिए, तो आपके सामने प्रेजेंट करेंगे.
नमस्कार, मी विनोद बोरसे बायफसोबत गडचिरोली भागात आदिवासींसोबत काम करतो. गडचिरोली आणि ओडिसातला नबरंगपूर जिल्हा अशा दोन याच्यात काम करतो मी. जवळपास 6 वर्षापासून काम करतो. माझं एज्युकेशनल बॅकग्राऊंड MSc झुलॉजी आहे, एंटेमॉलॉजी, टॅक्झॉनॉमी आणि इन्सेक्ट बिहेवियर यावरती माझं स्पेशलायझेशन आहे. हे जे इनोव्हेशन आहे ते माझ्यासोबत काम करणारे शेतकरी आहेत 3 त्यांचं आहे, मी प्रेझेंट करतो आहे. ॲप्रोप्रिएट टेक्नॉलॉजी फॉर कन्झर्वेशन अँड ब्रीडिंग ऑफ मागूर. मागूरचं जे कन्झर्वेशन त्यावरती मी काही पॉईंट्स आहेत त्याच्यावरती ब्रीफ करणार आहेत. मागूर काय आहे, त्याचं कन्झर्वेशन का करावं किंवा त्याचं नीड इम्पॉर्टन्स, त्याचं एक्झिस्टिंग सिनॅरिओ कल्टिवेशनचं, नंतर इनोव्हेशन काय केलं आहे शेतकऱ्यांनी ते, आणि आम्ही काय प्लॅनिंग केलं आहे फर्दर त्याचं एक्सटेन्शन करण्यासाठी. त्यात मागूर काय आहे, मागूर एक एअर ब्रीदिंग फिश आहे जो त्याला लंग्ज आहेत की तो पाण्यातून वरती येतो, ऑक्सिजन घेतो आणि खाली जातो. त्याचं मेडिसिनल इम्पॉर्टन्स आहेत. हा खूप इकॉनॉमिकली इम्पॉर्टंट फिश आहे की त्याचं टेस्ट खूप चांगलं आहे. इकॉनॉमिकली त्याची जर सेल केलं तर व्हॅल्यू पण चांगली मिळते. तो फिश जो एकदम थ्रेटंड आणि इंडेंजर्ड आहे. त्याचे मेडिसिनल व्हॅल्यूमध्ये प्रोटीन, हाय प्रोटीन, लो फॅट आणि हाय आयर्न आहे, जे की प्रेग्नंट आणि लॅक्टेटिंग मदर्समध्ये कामाचं आहे, म्हणजे त्यांना फायदा होतो त्यातनं. एक्झिस्टिंग सिनॅरिओ, मागूरचं जे ब्रीडिंग आहे, नॅचरल ब्रीडिंग, ते खूप डिक्लाईन झालं आहे. जे आपण जे पॅडी फील्डमध्ये फर्टिलायझर्स वापरतो, फर्टिलायझर्स, केमिकल पेस्टिसाईड वापरतो, त्याने त्याचं नॅचरल ब्रीडिंग खूप डिक्लाईन झालेलं आहे. त्याचं नॅचरल ब्रीडिंग जवळपास थांबल्यासारखं आहे. त्याचे जे सीड आहे ते उपलब्ध नाही होते. फार्मर्सनं जेव्हा आपल्याला सीड स्टॉकिंग करायचे फिश पॉन्डमध्ये, तेव्हा त्याचं सीड अवेलेबल होत नाही. मग फार्मर्स एक्झॉटिक मागूर, ज्याचं सीड इझिली अवेलेबल आहे आणि त्याचं नॅचरल ब्रीडिंग खूप फास्ट होतं, तर ते फार्मर्स एक्झॉटिक मागूरकडे वळतात. त्यामुळे मागूरचं जे आहे एक्झिस्टन्स खूप कमी झालं आहे. आणि जो एक्झॉटिक मागूर आहे तो आपल्या पॉन्डच्या इकोसिस्टमसाठी खूप हानिकारक आहे. तो कार्निवरस फिश आहे आणि जवळपास पॉन्डमधल्या जवळपास सर्वच फिशना तो किंवा ऑर्गॅनिझमना तो खातो. आपला जो देसी मागूर आहे, इंडियन मागूर, त्याला खूप प्रिफरन्स आहे मार्केटमध्ये आणि त्याची अवेलेबिलिटी खूप कमी आहे आणि त्याचं आता थ्रेटंड झालं आहे, म्हणजे तो खूपच अस्तित्व त्याचं नष्ट होण्याकडे आलेलं आहे. तर त्याचं कन्झर्वेशन खूप जरुरीचं आहे. आमचे जे काही फार्मर्स आहेत 3, जे माधव लेकामी, विजा तिम्मा आणि शंकर गावडे, त्यांनी ह्या स्लाईडमध्ये आहेत एक फार्मर आहे जो देसी जे मागूर आहे इंडियन मागूर आणि कम्पेरेटिव्ह जो एक्झॉटिक मागूर. एक्झॉटिक मागूर खूप फास्ट वाढतो आणि तो लोकांना म्हणजे इन्कम थोडंसं देतोय, पण मग तो खूपच हानिकारक आहे इकोसिस्टमसाठी. त्या कम्पेअरमध्ये जो देसी मागूर आहे तो खूप वजन कमी किंवा वाढ कमी होते, पण त्याची जी टेस्ट आहे, त्याचं जे कंटेंट आहे, प्रोटीन कंटेंट किंवा ते खूप महत्त्वाचे आहेत. फार्मर्सनी काय केलं आहे की जे त्यांच्याकडे जे पॉन्ड आहेत ते लवकर ड्राय होतात. जवळपास गडचिरोली भागात उन्हाळ्याच्या सुरुवातीलाच मार्च एप्रिलमध्ये पॉन्ड्स सर्व ड्राय झालेले असतात. तर यांनी जे काय केलं की जे ड्राय झाल्यानंतर जे आपले फिश आहेत, ब्रूडर फिश किंवा जे फिश घरी आणून त्यांना छोटंसं पॉन्ड करून त्यात वाढवतात. त्यात वाढवल्यानंतर त्यांना जवळपास जूनपर्यंत वाढवतात आणि त्यानंतर त्यांचं ब्रीडिंग, नॅचरल ब्रीडिंग करून पुन्हा पॉन्डमध्ये सोडतात त्यांना. फार्मर्स मागूरचं नॅचरल ब्रीडिंग करतायत. जेव्हा ते त्यांचं पीठ आहे जे छोटंसं, त्यात पण त्यांचं ब्रीडिंग होतं आहे किंवा जर क्लायमॅटिकल कंडिशन चांगल्या नसल्या तर त्यात न होता त्यांना पॉन्डमध्ये सोडावं लागतं. ते त्यापासून जवळपास 8 ते 10 जे ब्रूडर्स आहेत त्यापासून त्यांना एक 3 ते 4 हजार फिंगरलिंग्स होतात. फिंगरलिंगच्या स्टेजला फिशची मॉर्टॅलिटी थोडीशी जास्त असते. ॲक्च्युअलमध्ये त्यांना जवळपास 800 ते 1000 पीस मिळतात. एक पीस जे आहे फिशचं त्याचं वजन 100 ते 150 ग्राम असतं. यातून जवळपास त्यांना एक 3 ते 4 हजार रुपये अर्न होतात. ते काही कन्झ्युम करतात स्वतः आणि काही सेल करतात आणि 8-10 पीस ते फक्त ब्रूडर म्हणून ठेवतात. आम्ही काही प्लॅन केलं आहे की हे काही जे आहेत वरचे 2 फुट आहेत ते विजा तिम्मा आहेत, खाली माधव लेकामी आणि त्यांचा मुलगा आहे. त्यांनी ते छोटंसं पीठमध्ये ते कन्झर्व करतात ब्रूडर्स आणि नंतर त्यांना ब्रीडिंग करून पॉन्डमध्ये सोडतात. आम्ही काही आता जवळपास माझ्यासोबत एक 6 शेतकरी आहेत जे ब्रूड कीप करतायत आणि त्यांच्याकडेच एटापल्ली जो भाग आहे त्या भागात मागुरा अस्तित्वात आहे आणि बाकी खूपच म्हणजे नसल्यासारखंच आहे. तर जो प्लॅन केला आहे की जो पीठ आहे जो शेतकऱ्यांनी इनोव्हेटिव्ह केलेला, त्याला थोडंसं मॉडिफाईड करून किंवा त्यांना फीडिंग वगैरे हे करून त्याचं इम्प्रूव्हमेंट करून त्यांचे प्रोसेस वगैरे प्रॅक्टिस वगैरे हे करून त्याचं कन्झर्वेशन करणं आणि मागूरची ब्रीडिंग करून मागूरचं अस्तित्व वाढवणं याचं प्लॅन केलेलं आहे. त्यामध्ये जवळपास काही शेतकरी आम्ही आयडेंटिफाय केले की जे ब्रूड डेव्हलप करतील, काही नर्सरी लेवलला ते काम करतील आणि काही कल्टिवेट करतील, रिअरिंग करतील. कल्टिवेटर्स पुढे जाऊन स्वतः ब्रूड डेव्हलप करू शकतोय. त्याने जो मागूर फिशचं कन्झर्वेशन होण्यास मदत होईल. आणि न्यूट्रिशनल व्हॅल्यूसुद्धा तिथे वाढवता येईल लोकांमध्ये, जे माल नरिश लोक आहेत किंवा पेशंटमध्ये त्याची जी व्हॅल्यू आहे मागूरची, हाय प्रोटीन आहे त्यामध्ये आणि आयर्नचं कन्सन्ट्रेशन पण जास्त आहे. थँक्यू.
Thank you, sir. So all these five actually innovations, what they throw that they are, I mean, towards the preserving the integrity of the earth system, ecosystem, or cultural system. And they are very important for the survival of the community as a humankind as such, because this kind of varieties they are trying to preserve. Now it is important to learn from them that how they are actually the barefoot innovators trying to really preserve those systems. Now they will need our assistance in various ways, and we can see possibility that how we can help them. And with this, I see that I thank them all for coming here and making the presentation. It was really very interesting session for me and for all of us, I say. And thank you, sir, for coming here. With this, we close the session. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll request all of you, आपसे विनती है कि कृपया 1 मिनट के लिए यहाँ रुके रहिएगा. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We had some feedback from some members as I wandered around in the crowd that we could give way lot more time than we are able to give, and that's very, very just feedback. We understand that there is lifetime of work of all of these people, and it's not so just to expect them to explain in 10 minutes. Some logistical constraints, we'll try to kind of cover them up as we progress, as we learn from these. But meanwhile, all the articulation of their work is there in a booklet that we would keep on the in the counter. Also, we would upload all of this on the website. These videos would also be there on the YouTube, and contact numbers of all of these people would also be uploaded. So that will ensure that what we couldn't do it given the paucity of time, we would be able to do it in some way or other way. With that, to thank all of you, I'll be requesting Dr. Mashilkar to please come on the stage and give a tiny token of appreciation. These are interesting books. Thank you, sir. To begin with, to Dr. Vishwajit Pandya. So we'll start there. Dr. Vishwajit Pandya, and when I'm taking a name, please, whosoever has come along with the presenter, do come. Thank you, sir. Mr. Sunil Kamadi. उनके साथ जो भी आए वो भी आइएगा प्लीज. राहीबाई जी पोपरे, आप आइएगा. Dr. Girish Jatar, and of course we would call the colleague coming. Thank you. Mr. Vinod Borse and the colleagues whosoever come along, please join them. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Shaban, and thank you, everyone. We'll have the next session. If I could take a minute to just introduce you to the next session before lunch. Pune International Center, in association with Srishti, has organized Indo-China Social Innovator Exchange Program. Allow me to reiterate, Pune International Center, in association with Srishti, has organized Indo-China Social Innovator Exchange Program. As part of the, please have a seat. Thank you. As part of this program, today we will have with us Professor Fang. She is a professor in Department of Tourism in Tanjian University of Finance and Economics. May I request Professor Fang to please come over, take a seat, and we'll be requesting you to make a presentation, if that's okay. Yes, please. Thank you. So as Professor Fang has been very active in guiding students on the field for many, many years in China. She did lots of action research on how local innovations help the revival of local heritage. And that's very, very important. While I have a copy of presentation, I don't want to take away the presentation itself from Professor Fang. So I'll be requesting Professor Fang to present to you the kind of work that she's been doing in China. This is first of many sessions that will come annually to you. Also, as part of this initiative, we would have one Indian social innovator going to China and spending a few weeks there in TUF University, so that we are able to understand even more about social innovations happening across the borders, and we are able to present them all to you. So this is a humble beginning of that attempt. I'm sure that you all would appreciate and give your feedback so that we can continuously improve. So may I request Professor Fang to please come and present to the gathering. Thank you.
In the last 2 years, we compiled 2 books of honeybees. That's my student. She wears such kind of thing. But the beautiful thing is the minority people, the embroideries of Miao in Guizhou province of Miao minority. A few years ago, young people often go out of the countryside to the big cities to look for jobs. And this kind of traditional, this kind of intangible cultural heritage almost disappear. But now they revitalized. This kind of thing I bought as a souvenir from tourists. And in China, we now promote rural tourism. The countryside people, the rural women, they use their traditional skills to develop rural tourism. Miao Embroidery via Farmers Cooperative. What's cooperative? The rural area of Guizhou, and we rent a bus there, a small van. The road is zigzag and ups and downs. That mountainous area was very poor. This is Miao Embroidery. Very beautiful design and a very beautiful color. And this girl, her name is Liu Ying, and she opened a small embroidery shop in Beijing, and he can understood the big cities' consumers' demand. He can understand it very clearly. And then she set up a lot of cooperatives in small rural villages. And she trained the local women farmers to do the embroidering work. This is my team. I teach tourism in my university, tourism. I want my students to do the research and finish their graduation papers. That's my team. And then when we come back, we compiled the honeybee, just like I got this one from the desk here. The voice of creative grassroots innovators and the traditional knowledge holders. They are the traditional knowledge holders. Another kind of that's art, the performance. 咏凉 flying fork, they playing the fork. That's a traditional art. They are local community inheritance. They have the members of 78 years old and 3 years old. More than 50 members in the association. They handed down these arts from generation to generation. Villagers get together on 6th of June each year to dry. To dry their costumes means to put the clothes under the sun each year. And then they demonstrate a flying fork. They have training courses regularly and do commercial performance sometimes for the tourists. This one is very interesting. Guizhou traditional paper making. We are innovation and tourism. The traditional paper making is like this. They just the paper pulp. Traditional white plain paper, no design at all, sells 5 fen each. But when they have innovative ideas, the innovative products is adding flowers, fresh flowers and leaves in the paper, and for interior decoration and for decorating, or also they make some books or lantern for souvenirs, for doing souvenir. You know, the value added increased a lot. They sell this one, renminbi 20 yuan, equals to 2,000 fen each. That's a little bit innovation, and then the value added increased greatly. Wang Xingwu, an old man, the inheritor, gathered the villagers together and founded a cooperative. Cooperative is 60 members, and then Wang Xingwu, the inheritor, they got the order from foreigners, and then they assign the orders to the cooperative members. In this way, they develop rural tourism. A lot of foreigners, backpackers, they go to the remote countryside to see the process of making traditional papers. So some tourists came to his village and showed their interest in the process of paper making, and some of them wanted to try it. That's me. I put the pulps, and then I put some. I use different color of the paper pulps to paint like this, and then you dry it, and then they send it by the mail, like this. So services, I mean, they can provide a DIY process for tourists. This is me. They also upgraded the plain paper. They said it 5 fen, and they upgraded the plain paper. So this kind of paper can be used to repair the books in the palace museums. I mean, the old books they destroyed. Then they use the plain paper to repair it, to sell to the government, to the units, to the libraries. Here, Kaili, the college, Kaili in Guizhou province, that is this one, wax. They use wax to cover the cloth, and then dip into the Chinese herbs, the blue color, and then they become this. This is their drummers, design. And this is the wax dyeing. Where university engagement means Kaili College opened a national art inheriting class, 5 years, and then they gave them degree. And then the fee, tuition, was, free of charge. So that's, I heard some of you to give the inclusive education, that belongs to that part. inclusive. Whether you are poor or not, if you have the interest, then you have the right to come to the college and free of education. So they set up several heritage classrooms. This boy is the monitor of their class. The two students, we interviewed him. The experts from different famous universities also come here to teach the students because they lack of qualified teachers at that time. So they invite the experts. That expert is very famous. He knows a lot of embroidering or wax dyeing, and he was invited to the college to give the lectures. And this teacher is their university, their college teacher. You see the hands. After she teaches the students, the hands become this color, blue. So I like this picture. This is this woman. This is me. And nowadays she opened a corporation, not a corporation, an enterprise. Set up a small enterprise in the university. He set up a platform for students. If you have innovative idea, if you have innovative products, then through his platform, you can get contact with other businesses, and then you can sell your products. And the poor students can earn money during their university life. Now she has innovated some, she put the flower, the color of the flower, red, yellow, or some leaves like this one. They change the color, not only blue, but various kinds of colors. Last year I went there, they sell this 200 yuan each. This year I went there, they sell this 400, doubled. I know why. They said we will upgrade our image, our brand name. And that's the value added. Yes, that's my team. That picture is the graduation works of their students. Embroidery. My student come here, compare to this one. This girl is that girl. That girl. Another kind of revival is our association of students in our universities. Reed painting is a kind of intangible cultural heritage. This inheritance via students' association. This is a disabled man. The students helped him to innovate like this and export to foreigners. The radiation protection arts, reef painting. Next we investigated this. That's a black pottery via co-working space. Also, maybe you call it a creator's space. The inheritor, this village made traditional daily utensils like that one. But later, they have innovative art crafts. I call it innovation, a little bit of innovation. And this village, pottery village. And nowadays, the art form of pottery exported to, all over the world. The orders is big. Co-working space is a form, creators space in China now. Is a new, not new, but very practical tools. You know what? They freelance or free man, if you like it, you can come to the office, and then they set up a space, a workshop, the villagers you can come, and then university students you can come. And this platform, this space offer you skills and offer you clay, special clay to make the black pottery. And if you have innovative ideas, and then this space, this organization can buy your idea, and then they make orders from the abroad, and then you can produce it. The output is okay. So it's the summary, the 6 kinds of, and I made some. Thank you very much.
We request Rai Baiji to please felicitate Professor Fang. कृपया तुम्ही त्यांना पुस्तक देऊन. Thank you so much. I thought it would be very, very befitting, which he doesn't know of, that we are giving away these copies as a tiny token of appreciation. So that's the copy that you have. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful stay in India. On behalf of all of us here, we welcome you here, and we wish you all the best in terms of your stay here and explorations. Thank you so much.